never sent you. If someone sent you, I'm uncertain, but I'm thinking, that's my opinion, that maybe someone sent you out there to say this. And they sent you, man, on a suicide mission because they know doggone well the things that you said was untrue. They sent you to say that. They didn't say it. They have never said it because they know the truth. But someone gassed you up in your defense of Dr. Stevenson and all of the rumors that it is rumored that he's involved in. Your way to defend him was to put my name with a pack of lies in your mouth. And then not just lies, Mr. Larry Reid, that has risen to the level of defamation and slander, which is liable. And you will see me in court. This is a promise. I told you I'm from the West Side. We don't do that type of stuff. I'm going to fight you tooth and nail until you retract what you said in a legitimate way, not some half-baked apology. Don't try to apologize, but don't mention my name. No, that ain't how you did it. You said, Linda Jernigan, let me tell you, she's openly gay. She's openly gay. She's same gender loving. And now you want to come in my inbox like Nicodemus at night talking about, oh, I misspoke. That wasn't no misspeaking, sir. That was deliberate defamation and slander. And you're going to pay for it. Oh, yes, you are. You're going to give me an apology, an open apology where you retracted all using my first and last name the way that you did. And you're going to write me a check. This is not going away with an apology. A check and an apology will make this go away. Okay, let me get back to it. In minute number 53, Larry Reid said, Linda Jernigan is allegedly same gender loving. His next words, yeah, we went through the whole video. Yes, we did. My whole team. We've been working on this. We've been dissecting this. We've been transcribing this minute by minute. Because when I see you in court, I want you to be held accountable for what you have done, attempting to make a mockery of what God has done in my life, what I have lived for over 20 plus years to share about the goodness of Jesus and to inspire others to place their faith and trust in him. You will not cause any harm to my reputation and my name that I haven't done myself. Why would I let you do this? You got to be crazy. It's not going to happen. You said, well, she is. She is. You said allegedly, but then you said, well, she is. Go look at it for yourself. Thursday night, minute 53 and 52 seconds. That's what you said. Let me tell you something, Larry Reid. I got saved, baptized in August of 2000 at Valley Kingdom Ministries International under Apostle H. Daniel Wilson. I almost said RDN. Under Apostle H. Daniel Wilson. I got saved during the Praise Is What I Do era at the Valley. And when I was taught how to worship the Lord, it was worship that the Lord encountered me. And I began to have discussions with God about changing my life. I fought hard to come out of homosexuality and lesbianism. You wasn't on that bedroom floor with me on Friday nights when I was crying out to the Lord. So I dare not allow you to taint what God has done. After I left Valley Kingdom Ministry, I went to Word Made Flesh Church under William Jenkins Jr. And it was there at his church that I became an intercessor. It was there at his church that I preached my first sermon in 2003, I believe. My book came out in 2004. So it was there that I was already building a reputation of one who loved Jesus. I left there in 2004 and I joined Cornerstone Christian Center under Apostle Greg House. Now in minute 54 and 23, y'all hang here with me for a while because I got some stuff. I got the juice that y'all want. And I'm going to give it to you too. I got the courage to do it. And I'm not going to end up in court because all the matters is true. All the matters is true. It's facts. Now, I don't have to use the word allegedly because matters is true. Matters it's not rumors. It's not he say. It's not what people told me. Man, it's true. So, in minute 54, in 23 seconds, Larry Reid says Stevenson and his wife put her in a leadership position who is same gender loving. Now, initially, I thought, is he saying Dr. Stevenson hire homosexuals? Is he saying Dr. Stevenson hire in ministry open homosexuals? Because that wasn't my thought. And so it appears to me that he's actually, because if that's not true, he's actually defaming and slandering Dr. Stevenson too. The same person who he was supposed to be trying to have this damage control campaign about. So he's throwing him under the bus. He's saying that Dr. Stevenson hired me and I was same gender loving. And then he said that I should honor them because they gave me an opportunity as a same gender loving person, as an openly gay homosexual, because no other church, no other ministry, especially Black Pentecostal churches, would do that. Mr. Larry Reid, let me tell you something, sir. All Nations was the third church. It was the third one, not the first. It was the third one. It was the third church that I was a leader in. It was the third church that I was on staff in. So, Mr. who verified all of your facts, I verify all of my facts. I don't even say nothing unless it's public. You're lying. Obviously, you did not verify one single thing about Linda Jernigan. And for that reason, man, you're going to pay up the wazoozy because you do not, as you say, you are an influencer. You will not influence people in a derogatory way about me and think you're going to live with it. Absolutely not. Not going to happen. Wrong one, wrong day, wrong time. I'm going to see you again. And I guarantee you I win. So Cornerstone, Cornerstone, if I owe anybody some honor, it's Cornerstone Christian Center. It's Apostle Greg House, because he was the first one to put me on that stage and endorse me as an evangelist, knowing I had come out of homosexuality, knowing that it has been my proclamation. I shared my testimony of deliverance around the world. I have been before politicians and lawmakers. I have testified before congressional hearings. I have been to churches. I have been out of the country. I've been to retreats and conferences. And this man of God looked at me and he saw me. And he had the courage, and I'm going to go ahead on and say it, a Caucasian man took in this Black African-American West Side ghetto girl and placed her on the stage and affirmed her before the people of God and said, she is the Lord's evangelist. And then he gave me a salary too. Yes, he put me on staff and he paid me and gave me medical benefits. So if I owe a debt of gratitude to anybody, it is to the first person who did it. You just got it wrong. You thought it was Matthew Stevenson because you don't verify. You didn't verify this with me. You didn't do it. You just started yapping off at the mouth without no facts. Mr. I'm basing the facts. I don't say anything that's not out there public already. You didn't. That's exactly what you did with me. And then you want to come sneaking in my inbox talking about if you triggered me. You did not trigger me. What you did was activated my bank account for when I deposit that big check you're going to write to me. So you didn't trigger me. You insulted God. And what God has done for me, I'm defending God. You got it? I think you kind of know where I'm going with this now, don't you? Let's keep going, y'all, because I don't want to keep you here all night. So at minute number 55 and 39 seconds, Larry Reid said he gave me a position as same gender loving. He gave me a position as same gender loving. He said I was openly gay. I have a video. I think they're playing it. And I posted it on my page today. That when I left All Nations in 2018, I left Chicago and I moved to Memphis. And in that, day of me leaving, Dr. Stevenson brought me on stage with all of the evangelism team ministers surrounding me. That's all those red t-shirts you see. At the time, we were called lifesavers. And he laid hands on me. And when he laid hands on me, listen to what Dr. Stevenson said. Go ahead on and play it.
She said, real. She don't get any side effects. You wouldn't have to call that lady unless you really think about it. She ain't drinking no more low shoe. That's what it says. I know that we can do it.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear Dr. Matthew Stevenson say in 2018 that Linda Jernigan is saved for real? She ain't gonna be doing all this stuff with y'all. You better not be trying to get up with her after 8 o'clock at night, because she is saved. That's what the man said who hired me in 2015. So Larry Reid talking about Dr. Stevenson hired me and I was same gender loving. Dr. Stevenson should be dragging him to court too, because it's not true. It's a complete lie. Dr. Stevenson did not hire me as no same gender loving person. He hired me as a delivered ex-homosexual who fell in love with Jesus, who met a man named Jesus back in August of 2020, August of 2000. Dr. Stevenson called me in July of 2015, people, and he asked me to come to All Nations and help him build an evangelism team. Why? Because he saw what I did at Cornerstone Christian Center as an evangelism leader. I was over there with Dr. Hardy, working with her, ministering over there, helping and assisting with her church as well. He called me while I was at Dr. Hardy's church and said, come and help me. I talked with Pastor Greg, I talked with Dr. Hardy, and I decided to go. Why? Because to build an evangelism team, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I was called to do. I was no longer the senior pastor. I wanted to do what I love to do, and that was build and work in evangelism. So that offer was enticing. And he offered me a salary. So we negotiated my salary for several months because I wanted it to be something that I felt like was going to be worth my time. No, you cannot just get me and get my knowledge, get my information and my wisdom and my experience and get my dedication without bringing me a check. So we negotiated for the right dollar amount that I felt comfortable. And then I went in September. So the negotiations lasted from July until September, where I officially became part of All Nations. And this is what I was supposed to do. My job assignment was to build evangelism and to create a program that we can help other people who are struggling with same-sex attractions to enter into deliverance and discipleship. So those was like the two things I wanted to do. And that's why I went to All Nations, so that I could do evangelism and so that I could build something that other people who struggled with addictions, sexual perversion and sexual brokenness, that they can experience the same thing. But it became very evident to me after about a year and a half of me saying, well, I want to do this and I want to do that, and maybe we could approach it this way. It became evident to me that All Nations was no longer interested in assisting homosexuals in exiting homosexuality. And as this began to swell up in me and swell up in my heart, it presented a conflict. I began to feel conflicted. I saw where they made a decision to seat every woman who had been serving in All Nations Worship Assembly since its establishment. They decided to seat them and to allow only the men to serve. So as wonderful as that sounds, yeah, we don't have a lot of men serving in the kingdom and serving in the house of God. Yeah, let's let the men get an opportunity to serve. But the men that they had up serving and doing offering and prancing around the church was all effeminate, open homosexuals. Well, let me say that most of them appeared to be. Let me correct that. I just got a wave over here to say, hey, listen, watch that statement. Okay, so they appeared to be effeminate men who were involved in homosexuality. And so these were the ones who were prancing around for offerings and all of that. But behind the scenes with that, and because I was a leader, I understood that these men, by confidentiality and counsel and advising, these men were not declaring. Some of them was not declaring deliverance. They were actively engaged. They were wearing clothes, suggestive clothing, to suggest that they were not there seeking God. They thought they were at an openly gay homosexual church, and that was my conflict. I did not come to an openly gay affirming church. It was the opposite in my mind. So now that I am there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm watching what I believe to be a shift in this church, now I'm conflicted, saying, what do I do? Because if I leave, how is that going to look for Dr. Stevenson? Because people are going to question why Linda Jernigan left, why Linda Jernigan left, how that's going to look for all nations. And by that time, my heart really was connected. I love the man of God. I love the church. I love the people. I love the worship. I love the prophetic. I loved his preaching. I mean, my God, I still say that he's probably on my top 5 list of all time good preachers. The man can preach. So I loved him. It wasn't easy for me to make the decision to walk away. And as I was conflicted, I came up with what I call the Hagar plan. I came up with plan B. I said, I'll just leave all nations, but to make it still look good for them and to bring me peace. Because I wanted to lead a whole city. I didn't want to have nothing else to do with this, the direction this was going into, what I was seeing in my natural eyes, as well as what I was seeing about to happen in the spirit. And I wanted no parts of it. So I went to Memphis, and I hoped that Memphis was going to be better. And Memphis was very good to me until the first Sunday I went to church as a leader in All Nations Memphis. I was standing on the stage, and I told my friends later on, I said, I think I made a mistake with this. And I did. And within 3 months, I was gone from Memphis, gone. But let me tell you why I left, to show you the stronghold that this stuff have when you're really engaged, heart, mind, soul, and spirit into a place, into an organization. I went back to All Nation at the urging, at the assistance of Dr. Matthew Stevenson. He said to me, the ministry that you have built that was so strong and healthy, now it is a skeleton of what you built. He was like, we need you to come back. We need you to come back. And because I love the ministry, I'm talking about lifesavers and evangelism, it was hard for me to see what they was going through. It was hard for me to see how depleted they were. Because the leader that they put in place after I left didn't have the same grace that I had, didn't have the same standards that I had. He allowed things to come in that I never would go for. Absolutely not. And as a result, those people who had been reared and discipled under me, they couldn't stay under that. So they began to leave. So Dr. Stevenson brought me back. And because I love him and because I love the church, I entertained the thought. And then he made it where I decided this would be a good thing, because he offered to pay me 5 times. I say 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times as much as I was making. And you know what? Yeah, I think I'm going to get on back. And I came back. I came back in October of 2019. October of 2019. I submitted my letter of resignation in April of 2020 after multiple times of me saying, I believe I made a mistake in coming back. It was in April of 2020 that I decided that I was going to leave. So I submitted my letter of resignation in 2020. And here's what my letter of resignation said. We're going to post this for you a little bit later on. Oh, they got it right now. So apart from everything else that's on there, you see my letter. It's so beautiful. And there's a clause in here that I say, I entered ANWA with a reputation of deliverance and from mood-altering substances and lesbianism, and I leave with both intact. I also said, I intentionally lived above reproach, sexual accusations, slips and falls, and I abstain from chemical substances. I live in victory with no regrets. That's what I said. That is in my letter of resignation in April of 2020. Take it back down, y'all. That is in my letter of resignation in April of 2020 when I resigned officially from All Nations the church, from All Nations the collective, from All Nations and their grandparents, their nieces and nephews, the dogs and the cats. I severed every connection that I had with All Nations. Yes, I did. In April of 2020. So there was no openly gay. There was no same gender loving. There was no gratitude I should have because somebody gave me an opportunity. So Larry Reid proclamation that I was openly gay and same gender loving, it is a provable, verifiable lie. And we starting to prove it with the words of Dr. Stevenson, who said, Linda is saved for real. Linda is saved. We start with my letter of resignation that says, I leave with my testimony intact. So if there was something wrong with that, they should have disputed that at the time that I resigned. But because they knew that they had nothing on me, because they knew that I didn't drink none of their wine, I didn't sip on their Hennessy, I didn't take their kombucha, I didn't smoke no hookah, I wasn't in no orgy, I wasn't with no women, that because they knew that, they had to receive my letter of resignation as is, without scandal, without reproach. They had to receive it. So on September the 9th, I inboxed Larry Reid. After I heard his statements, I told y'all I'm from the West Side. We ain't no punks out there. My sister told me, Christine Madden, she said, I sure hope it's a West Side in heaven. I told her I do too, because I'm not going to make it in the suburbs of heaven. I'm not going to make it. I'm from the West Side. And our motto is, if you don't start none, it won't be none. But if you're going to start something, we're going to go and get with you. So, Mr. Larry Reid, I'm getting with you right now. This is just the beginning of me getting with you. I'm going to get with you until that check clears in my bank account. And I get my real apology with my first and last name, the way you did it. Not talking about no old salt, oh, I misspoke. You did not misspeak. You told outright lies. You lied on me. You defamed me. You slandered me. And you're going to pay for it. So I inboxed that joker. And I told him, I said, you in for it, man. You in for it. I told him, I said, you in for it. I said, you done crossed the line with me. I'm not sure, but I have an idea why you proclaim that I am openly gay and was openly gay when I went to ANWA. I say, he or they, that somebody done sent you off. I said, because this is a complete lie, which you have, and you're going to have to defend this lie in court. You're going to have to defend. Ain't no kumbaya moments. We're not finna go to no Red Lobster and Starbucks, not unless that's what you want me to meet you to pick up my check. I said, I'm not one of these little people, because I know you feel like you got a platform and you're an influencer and you have all of these followers and you got all these likes and all 500 y'all that's up on YouTube. Yeah, you influenced me on your platform with all them people. You made my own case as an influencer that you influenced my people and how they see me, how they hear me. And that's how come you got to pay for defamation and slander. You defamed me. You defamed me, but you got me wrong. My testimony of deliverance from lesbianism is on the record for all to see. I, at one time before salvation, was gay and very open about it, but not since my conversion. You will retract this statement with an open apology. This was the very next morning, y'all. With an open apology. You're going to retract this and you will pay me for defamation and slandering of my good name, which God gave me. God gave me this name. It wasn't through my power. It wasn't through my wisdom. It was through the power of God. And I'm not going to let you tell people that God cannot deliver. I can't let you do it. I can't let you do it. I fought hard for my deliverance and to maintain my deliverance and testimony. That you're not going to take this away from me. I will not come on your platform because I don't support you or your platform. However, I will talk, and I'm going to talk, and I'm going to talk, and I'm not going to be silent. I'm just not going to talk to you. You will not take what God done for me. You will hear from me and my lawyers very, very soon. You attacked the wrong one this time, and then I said, it's on, punk. And that's exactly how I saw this. I called him a punk. I declared that he was a punk in my opinion. That is my opinion and my assessment of him, because that was a very cowardly act to attack me while you're trying to save Dr. Stevenson. You're going to throw me under the bus, roll the bus all over me for no apparent reason at all, with no facts, with no proof, no videos, no pictures, no text message thread. You're just going to jump out here as an influencer to influence people in a negative way about me. That is cowardly, and that is a punkish move, and you going to pay. You are going to pay for that.